try and understand what are the different types of use cases that we are talking about. So I'm going to showcase you all of those use cases that cater to healthcare, that cater to logistics, that cater to fun, or you can say comedy, that cater to product merchandise, that cater to various solutions that provide solution to criminal investigations. uh, Data science provides solutions to various ad placements, so we will go all of that in detail, right? And how data science is used by Tinder. So you have all of different use cases that you're going to look upon. And one most important use case, let me tell you. Do you know that in 2000, I guess 18 or 19, Oscar was picked up using data science? Let's see how it is. Let's go with the first use case. The first use case is fundamentally to try and understand what treatments need to be given to certain patients who have cancer, right? So there is a company called Oncora Medical which gives cancer care recommendations. Let me tell you what is cancer care recommendations. Let's say there is one type of cancer that has come to 15 different patients. Now, let's say 15 different patients are being given the same treatment, the same plan, and all those details. Can data science help you to tailor make certain set of prescriptions? Let's say, for example, that patient A, patient B, and patient C are all on second stage of cancer. Now, can we use data science to understand how much of chemotherapy has to be given to A, B, and C? Previously, what used to happen is all of these three used to get the same treatment, same number of chemotherapy sessions, but Oncora Medical tried and found out that because of the certain biological conditions of the patient as well as behavioral condition of the patients, Oncora Medical can go and predict what are the number of sessions and when those sessions have to be given to the patient, right? So, and here I want to tell you one thing. As I'm telling you the use cases, you can see that I have bifurcated every use case into three things: problem, what did they do, and results. The reason I have not written solution and I said what did they do is basically to understand the bridge that is made between the problem and the results. And if you see, they have diagnosed, treated, right? And they understood the outcomes and side effects of 50,000 cancer records that stretch from last 15 years. Now, if you have the historical data of 15 years and you know what has to be done, you can use data science or machine learning to solve that. Before I go to the next use case, let me give a brief about what is data science. Now, imagine there is a class of 60 students that are there, and you directly jump as a faculty to that particular class, and you are unknown for all of the students. You don't know which of the student is good in academics, you don't know which of the student is good in sports, you don't know much about the students. Now, down the line of 1 month, you found out that there are certain set of students who are good in maybe academics. There are certain set of students who are good in sports. There are certain set of students who are good in arts, right? But there are also certain set of students who are not at all interested in anything, right? And they get less marks, they less attendance and all. I'll tell you a very classical example of data science in actual teaching. If a new student comes to your class after 1 month and he or she goes and sits with those students who don't study well, initially your thought process will be that, hey, this student I don't know much about, but if he goes and sits with that group, that means he or she is not going to study well. That is the initial speculation. 1 month down the line, you found out that the student who had come is not doing very well in examinations, not doing good in sports, neither good in arts. Now, your hunch basically is that was 1 month back that the student might not do well, and it was true. Now, your brain is trying to understand that if anyone goes and sits with that group, then the student is not going to study well. Correct? So, now this is a classical example of your system understanding the patterns within the class, patterns within the students. Similarly, when you go to the corporate, you go to the manufacturing industry, you go to the production industry, you go to the marketing industry, sales industry, banking, everywhere these kind of patterns are predominant. Correct? One more good example I will give you, stock market. Now, if there is any behavioral change or a news that has come for that particular company, the stock might go up or stock might go down. Correct? So understanding these kind of patterns is very fundamental, which is called as data mining. And when you apply a mechanism where the machine will learn and understand what will happen in the future without human intervention, that is called machine learning. So you understand the business, you understand how to automate it, you understand how to forecast it. All of this clubbed together becomes data science. Hope I am very clear. So now let's try and understand various other use cases. Now this was into healthcare. Next is logistics. Now imagine a case where you can use, best example is Google Maps. On the fly, it tries to understand and also forecast what would be the total traffic in your path line for next maybe 6 days, 7 days, right? So Google Maps already has a feature where you can select that, okay, I want to start at this particular date at this time. What will be my total journey timing for next 50 kilometers? Let's say you stay in Bangalore, you stay in Goa, right? In Goa, you're going from maybe, let's say, let's take a Maharashtra border, Vengurla. From Vengurla, you want to go to Kolwa, right? So typically, it takes how much time? Around 2 hours, 30 minutes, right? So now the Google Map will automatically try and understand, okay, for this particular day, let's say Sunday, at this particular time, it is going to take 3 hours. It is going to take 2 hours. Now the Google Map is trying to forecast. Now let's come back to the use case. Now there's a company, right? Like in India, we have got professional couriers, we have got TTDC. Similarly, there is a courier company, right, or a packaging company called UPS in US, right? Now what these people have done is they have used something called as network planning tools, which incorporates the core machine learning and behavioral analysis of the route, right? Even in bad weather or service issues. Now it is not only the thing that we see in Google Maps, it contains other things as well. It contains the detailed list of deliveries that I have to give. Let's say, for example, I am working as a delivery guy for UPS. Now, every morning when I go to office, I have to collect around 15 to 20 different product or maybe packages, and I have to deliver to 15 different places. Now, when I'm doing that, my system should automatically, or there should be a software that automatically should tell me which of these packets should be delivered first. Now, it has to take into consideration the distance, it has to take into consideration the route, it has to take into consideration the premium package. Let's say they sometimes they pay a lot of money for delivering a package, right, at a faster rate. Now you need to understand that as well, correct? Now if you see all of this together, there are a lot of different um, controllable factors, there are a lot of uncontrollable factors that come together for this particular problem. And what is the result? So according to the company's forecast, the platform could save UPS with 100 to 200 million by 2020. Now imagine how much saving this platform is going to do. So think of it, you can still deliver or maybe develop something, some kind of software like this in India and save a lot of money. Let's go to the third use case, streetlight data. Now, there's a company called Streetlight Data which works on the principle of Google Maps but gives you the right mobility conditions at that instance. Now, what Google Maps does is there is a bit lag within that. So, if you see when the Google Map shows a red in its map, you can still find out that the place doesn't have or the location doesn't have much vehicles. Correct. So you can see there are a lot of lags that come and go within Google Maps. So what Streetlight Data has done is basically it has used data science, yeah, right, to model specific patterns of the cars, even pedestrians, right, on the streets and try and understand what is the faster route. So UPS initially started to link up with Streetlight Data, and there are a lot of different companies who do that. Now the major advantage is that the core differentiator between the Streetlight Data and the Google Maps is the granularity of their data that is present. Now imagine what kind of infrastructure is needed if you have billions of records that are coming to your server every 1 minute. That much level, and you need a lot of processing power, you need a lot of data storage, you also need a lot of mechanisms where you can implement data science. Don't you think it is very curious, very good use case? Let's go to the next use case. Now most of you might be fascinated about the link that is there on the left hand side. You can see that the link name is "this person does not exist." So in data science or machine learning and or basically deep learning, really speaking it's deep learning, there is a mechanism called GAN or generative adversarial networks. What this does basically is try and understand what is the difference between a fake image and a real image. Now, when you have counterfeit notes or illegal notes, right? Notes, I mean, I'm talking about the currency notes, right? GAN helps very best. But let's see if GAN or machine learning or deep learning can do something innovative. Now, this person on the left hand side that I'm trying to showcase is computer generated image. This person does not belong to Earth. I'm not saying he's an alien, but there's no person with this face. Now imagine what machine learning can actually do. It can create fake people, right? And these kind of things obviously should not go to the wrong hands. This is just an example that I was trying to give, right? Now, this particular thing was developed by NVIDIA. Is my voice echoing? Okay, got it. So let me just check. Now let's try and understand a different use case altogether. How many of you, I want answers on the chat, how many of you basically go ahead and do shopping online? I want answers, all of you who are there. How many of you go online on Amazon or go online or Amazon, Flipkart, Lenskart, all of these places? How many of you go? Please put it on chat. Great. So when you do online shopping, right, will you do online shopping for, let's say, gold, diamond necklace, which costs more than 1.5 lakh rupees? Will you do that? Online shopping for costly necklaces or rings or earrings. Okay, so when you do that, do you get an option of trying it on screen? Now imagine that you have a mechanism where you can try it on screen. You select a button. So if you see on the left hand side in my slide, it will clearly showcase that the girl is trying to, uh, you know, try. Basically, she's trying to wear an earring, right? She's trying to test that. And the best example for this is Lenskart. So when you go to Lenskart and you select 3D on, it will take your face image and it will try to put that particular what you call the spectacles or the goggles on your face, and it will try to showcase how you look, right? Now this concept is called augmented reality. Now it's not that simple. It has to understand where is your face, how is your face structure, where is your ear, where are your eyes, what is the distance between both the eyes, distance between the chin and the forehead. Everything it has to understand, because you might be sitting very near to the camera, you might be sitting far from the camera, right? So obviously there is a bounding box, but it has to understand how exactly you need to showcase. Now, what happened is initially people used to do small set of shopping, like less than 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees kind of shopping, or maybe laptops at max of 25,000. And all of these jewelry shops thought that, hey, in COVID 19, who is going to come to the jewelry shop? Nobody is going to come, right? Now they need to do something because they are going out of business. People are not coming to their shop. Simple example is Joy Lucas. Now they have obviously they have not started it yet, but they are intending to start it. Now it's not an easy thing to do augmented reality, but imagine if you can do augmented reality on your websites. Like the best example is Lenskart. Lenskart was able to do that very quick. Now if Joy Lucas does, or maybe Kalyan Jewelers do that on their website, don't you think there will be more respondents to the website, more sales? And when the COVID-19 is lifted, they have the customer has both the options. You go online and purchase, or you go offline and purchase. Does this use case make sense? Now if you see on the slide, it clearly showcases that we have got 70% responders who had come basically using this particular tool. If you want to check, you can just go to intellistyle.com and check that, right? Now, this is the company who has done that, and the company where it is being use cased is the Pandora Jewelers. Let's go to the next problem. Goa, the, the famous sport that is played in Goa is football, right? So now let's try and understand, can we predict the patterns of every pass, every run, every goal? Can we do that? What is this use case? Which this use case belongs to which particular sector? It belongs to sports analytics. If you know, Anil Kumble has started his own IT firm which actually works on sports analytics. Now, sports analytics contains a lot of things: actual analysis of the entire game, nutrition analysis for each and every player, right? Or sports person. Now, what Liverpool FC had done, they created a mechanism called moneyballing soccer. And what they used to do is they used to calculate every pass of the rival, or maybe the opponent, and train their sportsmen, or maybe they train their players in such a way that they would be able to block, or they'll be able to gain more access, or try to understand the move of those players and all those, right? So even they used to recruit certain players on the fly basis the analysis that they do with the opponent clubs. Now imagine if it gives an accuracy of 85%, you are knowing the entire game of the other opponent. And if you take an example, as I said, Anil Kumble has his own company. What this company is trying to do is try to understand what is the part of the bat where the ball has to hit so that it goes in a certain direction. And how do you play certain, balls that come to you? How does a bowler ball? What is the speed? Is there any variation? All of those analytics and core machine learning that develops helps you to understand or develop strategy of how to play, which is very, very, very important. Next, I'll tell you this is a very good use case. How many of you know that Oscar in 2019 have used an AI mechanism to pick the right movie or the right play, right? And map it to the specific category that we have. So if you see on the left hand side, you can see best original song is Shallow. Best foreign language film is Roma. This is not picked by humans. This is picked by AI. It tried to understand what are the comments on social media, what is the rating on IMDb, what is the rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It tried to understand the behavior, tried to understand what is the type of details. All of those things are very much important, right? It also tried to understand the high risk predictions. So if you see the left one, right, high risk predictions, the swarm picks. So swarm is basically an AI based mechanism that they have built to basically understand that okay, best original screenplay is this, right? So high risk prediction means what? This kind of category or this kind of play has not come previously, but the swarm has picked up. Now, these high predictions have to basically be manually checked because I'll tell you what happens. Sometimes, basis what people say, right, or human behavior, if there is a new ad that comes, or maybe a new trailer that comes, or maybe there is a controversy that happens, there are a lot of text that gets flooded in social media. Now, if the swarm picks up that, it tries to understand that okay, hey, basis last 6 days, this is the best movie, but it might not be the case. All of those cases basically go under swarm prediction or what you call high risk predictions. And AI here, if you see the results, AI here had an impressive 94% score in predicting last year's Oscars. Now, obviously, Oscars can't be given by an AI mechanism, but AI tried to predict that these are the categories and these are the corresponding movies or plays and or actors. And when we actually did these kind of polling by a lot of people, right? We found out, or maybe they found out that both of them are matching by 94%, which means that if I say movie A is going to be the best screenplay using the AI software, people also selected that. Now imagine 94% accuracy of human behavior. Next, if this is a very good use case. Now imagine that, so a lot of all of you might be knowing, right? Zakir Naik or there are various other like Rahul Subramaniam. There are various stand-up comedians. Now imagine you develop your own AI bot that can do stand-up comedy. Let's go ahead and see how it works. Now, if you see what this lolbot has done is basically you give the lolbot a context, right? You give lolbot a context like say for example some sports or maybe some movie or something like that. Lolbot tries to understand what is the context, what are the various different kinds of jokes that are running on social media, tries to predict which of the joke is has the most set of comments or the most set of likes, and then the lolbot will automatically give that statement. Now imagine you have that particular bot and you connect it to your Amazon Alexa or basically you connect it to your Google Mini, and in the morning you're sipping your tea and you want to laugh, you can just go ahead and install that lolbot in your or in your mechanism or maybe this Alexa or and Google Mini that I said, and you can enjoy life, right? So AI basically can power even stand-up comics. Let's take another example, predict crimes. In New York, right, they have used something called as ProPublica. This is basically a AI or a machine learning mechanism which can try and predict who would be the next offenders. There might be serial offenders, there might be past offenders, there might be sort of people who will do a crime for the first time, right? But the system will automatically try and predict with certain accuracy, right? It is obviously right now at 60% accuracy that there would be a new crime that will be done by the past offenders or the new ones, correct? Now, what this algorithm takes into account is the current salary of the person, where the person is living, what is the education, does he or she have a criminal record in the past, which location they are currently living in, and all those. And basis that, it does a risk scoring. Now, imagine this case. If you can predict if the crime will happen. Now, obviously, this has a lot of different kind of hypotheses, but typically it has to, cater to these kind of things with a lesser accuracy, right? Because there are a lot of additional external factors that will come. Right, Mohit, sorry. The sound of lolbot might not be clear or audible. So what I will do is I'll basically send that link of lolbot. You can just Google lolbot and basically you will get that. Next is ad placement. Now imagine that you go to a Reliance Mart or maybe in Goa you have got Malde Goa, right? Now you go there, you are standing in front of maybe a TV shop or maybe Reliance Digital, you go inside and you stand near 10 TVs. There are like 10-15 TVs that are placed. You go to Chroma, there are 10-15 TVs that are placed. And when you go to that particular TV, you find that it automatically started playing an advertisement which on the of a product which you were actually interested in. Doesn't it sound very interesting use case? I'll again repeat for all of you. Let's say you go on YouTube and you're trying to search a laptop. You go on Amazon, you try to search a laptop. Now, your entire history details are there with Google. Now, what will happen is basically you go to a store like Chroma and you are trying to search for a laptop. And you ask the person standing there, right, or the employee standing there of Chroma, and you ask, hey, I want a 8 GB RAM laptop with i5 processor with 1 TB hard disk, and then you spend a lot of time in that particular area where you have laptops, and then slow and steady you go to a place within Chroma itself where they have put a lot of TVs, and when you stand there you see that the entire view within the TV, initially it was playing songs, it suddenly shifted to a Dell laptop's advertisement. Will a customer get more intuitive to buy a laptop if this kind of advertisement happens? What do you say? I want answers from all of you guys. if you have understood the use case, or do you want me to repeat? Because this use case is very important. And because of this use case, they found out that 25% of sales have gone up. Now imagine 25% sales. Now if you, and because of this, think of the improvement that might happen in the revenue stream. Correct? So if you want to repeat, you want me to repeat the use case again? Okay, I'll again repeat the use case. I'll take one example. I'll take Shruti Nayar's example. So let's say Shruti Nayar goes to online website, like let's say YouTube, and tries to search for a Dell laptop or maybe an HP laptop, right? With 8 GB RAM and all those things. She wants to understand that, okay, this is the laptop that I want. She has some specifications in mind, right? YouTube is connected to your Google, right, or your Gmail account. And then she goes on Amazon and tries to search some laptop, but she doesn't buy. Then she goes on Flipkart and she doesn't end up buying it. But she has an interest to buy it, right? And what she does is she goes to Chroma and basically specifically goes to that particular place within Chroma where you have a lot of laptops, right? Chroma or Reliance Digital or any other retail outlet. Now, when she goes there, she asks an employee who is there that, okay, I need an 8 GB laptop with i5 processor and all of these configurations. So there are a lot of cameras that are present in Chroma or Reliance Digital. They try to track that, okay, she's spending 30% or 40% of her time in the laptop area. And the mechanism on the fly tries to run and keeps in mind that Shruti likes to buy a laptop, and she's just roaming inside uh, Reliance Digital or Chroma, and she suddenly comes to a place where you have a lot of TVs, television, right? So if you see in the image here on the left hand side, there are a lot of TVs, and she goes there and she's standing, she's seeing the TV. Now the TV is playing some music or some some video, and suddenly she sees that the entire video changed and the advertisement of Dell laptop has come. Now imagine your system knows that what you're searching online, what you're trying to buy, what are your interests, and then basis that it tries to understand that this is what you want and makes you familiar with it. Now imagine the level of AI. It is trying to understand your patterns, what do you want, and tries to showcase on the fly, understand customer needs, and place the right ad in front of them. Don't you think this is a very good use case for advertisers in offline marketing? And similarly, when you go online, you can have the ad placement specific for me, specific for people in the group, specific for a lot of people, right? Like for example, I search a book called Sapiens on Amazon, and if I go to any other website, I can see the tag. That's a simple recommendation engine, correct? So it all started from that recommendation engine. Next, Tinder. So this is the last use case that I'll be talking about, and then I'll be talking about in general data science and stuff. Tinder uses something called as an algorithmic matcher. What it does is tries to understand your behavior, your specification details that you have given, that I stay here, I like this, I like that, and all those things, and it automatically gives you an attractiveness ranking, right? And maps it to the right set of people who have that particular ranking, correct? Now, because of this, what happened is there was a hit percentage increase of 45%. Now, imagine that even Tinder is using data science. So, you must have seen what kind of use cases I have taken. I have taken medical or healthcare, I have taken use cases from logistics, I have taken use cases from sports, I have taken use cases from media and entertainment, I have taken use cases. I have not taken any of the use case, right, which is regularly used in IT sector. The reason I did not take that is because I want to understand that it's not only IT sector which has data science. Data science is everywhere. Venkatesh Prabhu says use Lightbeam add-on on Firefox. Correct, Venkatesh? Yes, we also use that to try and understand how the websites are connected. Great. So before I start with the questions, I'll give you a brief about what is happening in COVID-19, right? There are a lot of people who are losing jobs and there's a lot of shortage in the market and all those things. But if you clearly see what has happened is that most of the places where humans have to go and buy, people have to go and buy, all of those markets have gone down. But what markets have gone up? Healthcare has gone up. Second is customer care has gone up. Now, customer care does not require you to be there in the office. You can be at home and you can work. So there is a company called 18 Floors, flowers.com, and what this 1800, sorry, 1800flowers.com, what this company has done is they have created virtual call centers. So you sit at home, you can work as an agent, right? So all those companies which are working on contactless environment, best example is Zoom. The Zoom prices cost has gone up. Cost, I mean, I'm talking about the share price and all the details. All those applications and data science typically, right, for all of these cases is very contactless. And for solving this kind of a problem sitting at home, analytics is very useful. Everybody wanted to understand and define what is the forecasting that will happen, what would be the share price, how many sales that will happen, right? Amazon is still working, selling goods. So Amazon does not have a store in India, right? As far as I know. So all of these e-commerce websites who deliver stuff, online, and all of these companies have shooted up, right? So, so Melissa says, what about financial markets? So financial markets, the main thing is, do people have money to put into, performing assets? Yes, no, maybe. I don't think so right now. Individual or a middle class person has the money. And a lot of companies, what have happened is because of COVID-19, there are huge losses in their market capital. I'll tell you why. Most of the Indian IT companies, if you take, have projects from Europe, US, and all other places. Now, if US and Europe market have got a hit, similarly, these Indian IT companies will obviously have a hit, right? So most of the IT companies used to survive on simple software engineering kind of a job where you work on their websites, they work on their databases, work on their ERP solutions and all. Because there is not much business that is happening in Europe and US. There's a lot of losses that have happened in financial markets as well as human resources. Correct. So COVID-19 will have a very big impact, and you can easily see the impact right now. You can see, the Sensex dropping at a very rapid rate, and all those things. Okay, so if there are any questions for me, please do ask. You can put it on the chat. Hope this session was interesting and you got to know about what are the different kind of use cases that are there in data science, right? Apart from the regular use cases like stock market, financial market. So these are all regular use cases. And what you have seen now are the use cases that are the near future. Augmented reality would be useful. Let's take an example of uh, something like a laboratory work that you're doing in chemistry or physics. So what you can do is using augmented reality, basically, you can go ahead, make the person sit, right, in front of the TV, which has the augmented reality kind of mechanism, and you can do certain experiments on the simulators. Do you think that's interesting? Yes, Melissa, correct. So this is a very good question. She asks, when people have low purchasing power, can data science help in optimizing the purchases? Why not? 100%. Now, the data science mechanism or a machine learning mechanism can try and find out what is your purchasing power. So you can create a purchasing power index basis, the salary, past purchases, type of purchases, and all those, right? And it can basically go ahead and tell you that okay, this is the highest rated product that comes under your budget. So we can basically go ahead and tailor make a entire set of products that will fit in your budget and has the best quality. Yes, we can do that. Very good question. Piku asks, does weather forecasting use data science purely based on uh, planetary movement? It uses data science. I'll tell you how, right? It is so all of the variables within the planetary movement and the current location based variables, right? The wind speed that is there and all this, whatever planetary movements are there, all of those goes into forecasting model, right? So there is something called time series in data science. So time series models are those which basically try to predict basis all these factors that I talked about what would be the weather on certain day. So in data science, that's if you take a data mining book, that's the very basic example or the starting example that comes, which has humidity forecast, which has outlook or outcast forecast. There are a lot of things that are there, and weather forecasting is the primate one which uses data science. Any other question? So Melissa says that the migrant exodus during COVID opened new issues. Can data science used to predict industries can be created in this stage? Predict industries that can be created. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Obviously, we need to understand from where these migrants are coming, and we also need to understand what is their skill set and all other details, the local resources that are available, right? Because if you want to set up an industry, you need to have a lot of resources that should be nearby, right? So the location, the resources, what kind of industry, what are the skill set of these people, all of those together can basically help in doing that. Very good. Mutual funds are invested by agents manually. Is it fair to use AI directly to write shares without physical invested by the agents? No, Mohit, we should not do that. AI can basically be a helping hand to a human. We should not fully automate it in such a way that it takes its own decisions, right? I guess recently, I guess 1 year back or 2 years back, Facebook had an issue. They tried to create a fully automated AI solution and they started talking to one another, right? So these kind of things should not happen. So when you're doing algorithmic trading just helps you or forecasts you that okay, you should put money at this particular place. Your stop loss should be this much. Your cap should be this much. You can just use it for making your decisions, basically for decision making, but you should not automate it. It has to be manually done by a trader, or you can do it by yourself on HDFC Securities or 5paisa and all. So Pratiksha asks, are there any applications available for using augmented reality in a classroom? I am not very sure because I have been away from classroom teaching from quite a while, and I have not seen uh, in education the use of augmented reality for now. But I have a specific website called yeepar.com. Let me just paste it here. So there are a few use cases that you can look at here, and it will be very helpful, uh, to use that. And if it is available online, I guess so. You can basically go ahead and see. So there is a website called classvr.com as well. So I think you would be very interested to see that. And let me paste some use cases that are there uh, and are very much important for you to go through. So let me just paste that. I'm just pasting it on the chat so that you can look at that, right? Solly asks, I know GAN is used for data augmentation. Can we use this for data augmentation for object detection purposes as well? Why not? Why not? Because what happens is, it's not that the model or the algorithm should understand only certain set of points. Like, say for example, there's an object called bottle, right? There the bottle will have different sizes, different shapes, and all those. Now you need to create a mechanism to identify a bottle within the entire group of objects that are there on the table. Now, obviously, it is very difficult for you to take images of each and every bottle. Imagine you have a mechanism using GAN that automatically tries to find out or maybe tries to create new bottles which are not there, but it tries to create. Now, for your machine learning model, the training data is getting ready. You don't have to go and take pictures of each and every bottle that is present. Does it answer your question, Solly? So Chahat asks, can data science help solve the placement issues? Good question, right? Now, I'm not sure if it can solve placement issues, but it can generate more jobs, right? Placement issues, I mean, using data science, solving placement issues would be slightly difficult, but I have one small use case. When you go to Nokia.com, recently they have started using AI and machine learning to try and find out what are the different skill sets that are required by a company and then map it to the right candidate within their database. Now, initially they used to do it just using word searches, but right now they try and understand what kind of problems they have solved in your that you put in your CV, what kind of techniques you have used, and if those techniques and the job description given by the company match. If that matches to some extent with a greater probability, the system automatically forwards those CVs to the recruiter. That is one thing. Second thing is, because most of the jobs right now are into analytics, data science, machine learning, there are new jobs that are available in the market. So my personal suggestion for all of you, is to basically go ahead and do a course, right, in data science, and try to, so because data science is everywhere. Data science is in classroom, data science is in corporate, data science is in everywhere. Data science is in tourism, right? So it is better to have a knowledge of data science and implement it in day-to-day life. Hope that answers all of your questions. Okay. For more updates as well as use cases, right? You can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Correct. So this is an old image. Right now I have got 300 subscribers. So you can just search on Google, solve business problems using data science or using analytics, and you will be able to get this use case. So if you want, I'll just paste it into this section. I'm just copying it. Hope everyone can see my channel details now. You can click on it, you can subscribe, you can also check various use cases. So there are very good use cases that we have come across. One is HR analytics space. Why do your company employees leave the company and go? What is the reason? Everything start to end is explained in my channel. Like in this channel, you can also see how news rumors work, how to classify the news documents, right? And this also contains very basic problems that you find in Python. It also talks about insurance analytics. It talks about framework of data science, how data science problems are solved in corporate. Every video which is required, which is not there on internet, right, which is not there on YouTube. See, everywhere they will explain you about what is the algorithm, how it works, what is the input data, what is the output data, and all those. I'm not here to explain that. I'm here to explain how to use data science for your problem, because what is important is the business, is the actual issue. If you're trying to provide solution to the right thing, by using data science, your work is done. It's not only the algorithm that is very useful, it is also the problem statement you are trying to work on. Correct? So, first and foremost, right? So, is understand the problem statement, right? So, what we can do going ahead is I can have more sessions on this, right? And Nisha Sawant from Goa, she will give you a form to fill where you can enter all your details so that we are in touch. We also have a Telegram group, so you all can add on to that particular Telegram group, and then we can have more business problems or more use cases to solve. Right? We can take a real life problem that we have and solve it every week. Hope that is this arrangement is very useful for all of you.